worked on the introduction to chatbots, the use cases of chatbots, the industries that are currently using chatbots. So in this second lecture, we're going to talk about setup and development. What are the tools that we need in order to start the development of chatbots? So first of all, we will need a Python package, which is Python 3.6 or Python 3.7. There is actually a current version of Python. You can just come into your browser and just search Python, and then you just go straight to the Python website, or you can just go straight to the download section. So I'll just click on the Python website and let it open. And also the second tool that we're going to need is called Visual Studio, which is a text editor that we're just going to write code in. But you can actually use any text editor that you're actually comfortable with. I don't know, it just depends on your likes, what you like, your preferences. But I actually recommend Visual Studio because of its extensibility. You can actually put a lot of extensions into it, and you can actually extend it to suit your own functionality needs. So just fire up your own browser and just type in VS Code or anything, or Visual Studio Code, and then just click on the first link to open the web page for Visual Studio Code. So under Python, so Python is actually a programming language. So in order to use Python in your own machines, you have to actually download the Python package and install it. For those who already know Python, you somehow have got the package installed already. But I actually recommend Python 3.6 or Python 3.7. For those who actually don't even know how to program in Python, you just get along in the way. It's not actually a hard language to get along with. So we hope you have a step of the way to get along with Python. So just go to Python's web page, like the default web page, and then just click on the download section. Here you'll see a list of different versions for Python. So I highly recommend Python 3.7 or Python 3.8 or even Python 3.6 to work with, because it's very stable to work with. It contains minimum errors. Despite Python 3.10, it has a lot of bug fixes, so we don't know what would happen. It might break when we're coding with it. So I recommend you download Python 3.7 or Python 3.8 or even Python 3.6. So what I want you to do is just come here, scroll down the list, find the version that you want. We're going with Python 3.7, just hit on download. Here it will tell you information about the version, Python 3.7.8, and here you can actually download the Python package. You can actually download the Python package as a zip file, or you can actually download this as source code. So basically we are going to download it as a zip file. Let's go to the downloads page. But if you want to work with the latest version, that's still okay. You can actually just go to download the latest version for Windows. You can just click on download Python 3.10. If you're on a Mac, it will actually say Mac here. If you're on Linux, it will actually download Python for Linux. Let's just click on download Python 3.10. As you can see, it starts the download. Just click on start downloading, and it will download. So we also need Visual Studio Code or VS Code in order to code our program, in order to develop our chatbots for WhatsApp. So you just head down to the Visual Studio Code default website. So Visual Studio Code is a text editor that is developed and maintained by Microsoft Corporation. So it's the best text editor there is. A lot of companies use it, a lot of individuals use it. Plus it's open source. You don't have to pay a license, you don't have to pay anything to use Visual Studio Code. So you can just click on download Visual Studio Code, and it will actually start the download process. So you can actually download for Windows, download for Mac OS, download for Linux 64-bit. So you can just click on download for Windows and wait for it. Thank you for downloading. It will take time to download. Let me close this. Since I'm already downloading a file, let me check it. Yeah, since I already got Visual Studio, I'll just cancel the download. I already have it installed in my machine. Okay, so once you have downloaded the Python package, you can close it. Or maybe if you want to check the documentation, you can actually click on documentation to get started. But we are going to get started with you. We'll show you everything that you need to do to set up Python, or to know Python, or to start programming with Python. So you can actually close it for now. So first of all, in order to develop our WhatsApp chatbot, we are going to use a third-party service called Twilio. We are also going to cover third-party services like Wati.io, Dialogflow, in order to accommodate everyone. So you can just search Twilio, open the Twilio website. So Twilio is a third-party system or a third-party software which will allow us access to the WhatsApp API. Since we cannot access the WhatsApp API directly from Facebook, Twilio has been granted the permission to actually use the WhatsApp API. So we'll actually utilize the power of Twilio to our own advantage. So if you open the default website for Twilio, you can go through it at your own time if you want. But what I need you to do is actually sign up. Wait for it. Okay, then first name, you can actually put your first name here, and there's last name. I'll actually put this, and then email. I'll use the company email. Just use my default one. So put the email that you want to use with Twilio, and then put your password. And then accept the terms and conditions. Okay, it's saying the password is insecure, so I'll create a random password. Okay, and then I'll click on start your free trial. Let's wait for it, it's loading in the background. Okay, it's loading. So it's asking us to verify. Just click on verify, and then just click on every part where there's a spiral image of a galaxy. Verification complete. We've managed to verify with Twilio. That's one step forward. Okay, now it needs us to verify our email in order to start using Twilio. So I got it. Maybe later. So let me go and verify it. Open Chrome. Refresh. It hasn't arrived yet. I think it's taking long to arrive. Let's just say resend email. Send your verification email. Doesn't arrive. Is it because of Twilio or what? No. Okay. So it's now asking us to verify. So I'll just confirm my email. Okay, it's now asking us to log in, so let's do that at Internet Explorer. Let's just refresh it. Let's just Twilio.com console. let's just actually log in since we actually verified. Okay. Okay, let's just use it from here. Put in the email that you used. Make sure it's correct. And then the password. Click on OK. Okay, let's wait for it. Okay, it also needs us to verify our mobile number. Just put your mobile number there. Make sure you have your mobile phone with you. Okay, so all you have to do next is just to enter the verification code sent to your own mobile number. So mine is just arrived. It's actually 947451. Submit it. Okay, we are done. Which product are you here to use? WhatsApp. What do you plan? Referent bots. And then let's just say with code. What is your preferred language? Python. Yes. Okay, start with Twilio. So the good part about Twilio, it actually gives us $15.50 as a trial fund. Agree and confirm, so that we can actually test out their services. We can actually test out building our chatbot. We can actually test out anything. So this is their service. So your console might be different from mine since they actually upgraded it, but it will remain actually the same, most of the functionality. So once you're done opening Twilio, just leave it there. We will look at it in the next video when you actually start the development, start programming our chatbot. So what we need to do is to actually install the packages that we actually downloaded. So I'll open my downloads folder, refresh it. So this is the Python installer. So what you need to do is actually right click on the Python installer and actually run it as administrator. You may ask, why do we run it as administrator? We wanted to actually create a path in the system variables rather than do it ourselves, since it may actually break the system by just doing it ourselves. Maybe we may miss a semicolon or something like that, so we don't want to do that. So you can actually add Python 3.10 to path, install launcher for all users, and actually click install. So I already have a version of Python installed in my system, so I will not go forward with installation, but all you have to do is actually hit install. That's the only step. And then once your Python is done installing, let me cancel it, you also have to install Visual Studio Code, which is the setup that you have downloaded from the internet. So you just right click on it and also run it as administrator. So what happens with Visual Studio Code, when you actually run it, it will actually install in the background. So you just see an icon of Visual Studio on your desktop to show that it is actually installed in your system. So to confirm all of this, what you can do is go to your start and then just type in Python. You will see it will show you an IDLE, which is a development environment or a text editor or a default one. for Python, it shows Python is actually installed successfully in your system. And then we also need to check our Visual Studio. So Python is there. And then we have to check our text editor. There are a lot of text editors that you can use. So you're not actually limited to Visual Studio Code, which is the one that I showed you. You can actually use Atom by GitHub. It's actually another interesting text editor. Just differs with preference. You can actually use Atom. It's actually a good text editor. You may read out information pertaining to Atom. You can also go with Sublime Text as a text editor. Just depends on the kind of text editor that you want. It goes with preference. Maybe you have your own text editor. If you're using Linux, maybe you're using Vim. Also, maybe you're using another different text editor that you like. So it all works the same despite the text editor that you're using. So if you actually have downloaded Visual Studio and you have managed to install it, what I want you to do is go to your start page and then just search Visual Studio Code or VS Code. It will pop up. You can see even the icon on your desktop. It will actually be there when you actually successfully install Visual Studio Code. So just click on Visual Studio Code to launch it. Our Twilio is now active, so let me close this. So wait for Visual Studio Code to launch. We wait for it. We can actually close this one out for the meantime. We don't need it. So basically you won't see this if it's your first time using Visual Studio. So this was a project that I was actually working on. So let's open new window. Okay, so this is actually the default window that you see when you start Visual Studio for the first time without the recent projects. So this is actually the interface of Visual Studio. Don't let it scare you in the first place. It's actually as easy as ever. So we'll look at this in depth in the coming tutorial, how to use the terminal, how to use the command palette, how to do a lot of stuff with Visual Studio. But for the meantime, what I want you to do is actually click on this extensions tab here, and then I want you to type an extension. I want you to click or type Python. You want the extensions for Python. Of course, it does actually support Python programming or Python coding, but you actually need the Python extension so that you can actually get like autocomplete code suggestions, so that you actually don't have to type it like the whole piece of code, like the whole logic of your chatbot for it to do anything. So wait for it. Okay, so as you can see, there are a lot of Python extensions, but the one that I want you to use is actually this one. It's called Python, and below it is written IntelliSense in bracket Pylens from Microsoft themselves. So you just click on it, and then there will be an install button here. Just click on install. Once the Python extension is installed, it will actually restart your Visual Studio, or you can do it manually. You can just close it and reopen it. So it's as easy as that. And then to confirm if everything has worked well, what you can do is you can actually go, let me close this, and then I want you to just click on new window again. I will show you shortcuts later in the next coming video. This is just to check. We have not actually started the development. We're actually setting up the development environment. So just click on new file and then click on text file. Just click on text file and then just select a language and then just type in Python and just click on it, and then here you can just type print hello world. If you're not actually familiar with Python, don't worry about it. We'll go through it in the next coming tutorial. You'll see it's actually easy It's one of the easiest languages with the easiest syntax to use in order to develop chatbots. Even if you don't know how to use Python, we'll actually go with you step by step of the way, and you will learn as you go, as we develop project with you, as we code the logic of the chatbot, as we code the functionality of the chatbot, and then just click on save if you want. I need to ask you for a location to save, so I'll just pick desktop, and then I'll just save this file as test.py. So for others, you can actually even use PyCharm. I know a lot of you are computer science students, information systems students, computer systems engineers. Maybe when you're doing lectures at school, you actually taught to use PyCharm as a text editor. You can actually use it as a text editor. It still works the same way. So you can just go click new terminal. If this is actually overwhelming, don't actually let it overwhelm you, because we'll go through it in the coming lectures. We'll actually teach you this whole syntax, this whole thing about Python. We'll teach you everything that you need to know about it. Okay, so you can actually run it. As you can see, it actually printed hello world. So everything is set and we are ready to start developing our chatbot. So in the next lecture, we are going to focus on the logic part of our chatbot. We are now going to start developing our chatbot. We are all going to start programming our chatbot, programming the functionality, and also, by the way, learning the Python language that we are currently going to use in order to code these chatbots. Programming is not even hard, especially if you are using Python. You will see, you will learn it as you go in a bootcamp style. So that's it for this video. So let me close out these things. Twilio will start using it in the next lecture when we actually connect everything. Right now, we've actually set it up. We are ready to go. We have our trial balance to use. We are ready to build for WhatsApp. As you can see, it shows Twilio sandbox for WhatsApp. We are ready to start developing our chatbot using Twilio, our WhatsApp chatbot. And we also show you the no-code way to develop chatbots, like without using any code. So why do we usually prefer the coding way to develop chatbots? It's because of the limitless possibilities that you actually have, the privileges. For example, you can actually code your own logic for the chatbot. You are not actually limited to form builders, which people currently use to build a chatbot, but we also show you how to do it so that you can actually choose between the two. Maybe if you want to create a chatbot first, you can actually go with the no code. If you want to take time developing your complex chatbot, you can actually choose the coding way. So we are done setting up and ready to go into the next lecture to start developing our chatbot. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, just post them in the forum. Thank you.